Well, these are updates that really don't warrant a full session. They're just something that are some things that we want to make sure you're aware of, and we are moving forward with that. So and getting that information to you. So if you have questions, you can still use the app.gosoapbox.com and the access code is KDE data to answer those questions. And we've got folks that are monitoring that and maybe answering that before I can even get to the questions. So here we go. So you can see we're going to cover a few things today, but none of it's in a lot of depth. So right now is the time, if you haven't already, to go ahead and do your active year change. Whenever you're ready, you can do it. Sometimes folks get confused and they're waiting for us to say, do it now. It's really your decision. Obviously, there's considerations that have to be made on when it's right for your district, but it does determine which enrollment is highlighted on the enrollment screen. So as teachers coming back and schools opening up, you definitely want to have the correct active year there. So it doesn't control any longer what's on the visible on the portal. Those settings did change. You do not want to change it if you've not had campus run the Kentucky enrollment script in your district. It's optional, but if that's something you normally do, go ahead and put a ticket into campus to get that done before you make the active year change. The end of year checklist has additional information that was shared with you during the May training. So if you didn't get a chance to see that, do check out the new end of year checklist. You can just make sure you've done everything you should have done and feel a little bit better about going forward. So scope year change, it does change with this next release that goes into place tomorrow. It will be for 22-23 and 22-27 that we're actually updating to. It impacts the set of data that syncs automatically to State Edition. Right now, we don't have a lot of New Year data in the system, so this will take care of that. So you can kind of see here below, how this impacts the different syncing. It's probably more important to us here at state level than it is at the district level, but it's good to be aware of. So we do have some 2022, 2023. Back in May, we said we would have a new state report submissions document available by the 1st of July. It is available. We went ahead and linked it in here. It's a really good document just to be aware of. We encourage you to be proactive in around data quality. And if you see that there's a reporting time, one of the benefits of KDE and districts in Kentucky having one student information system is you're not having to always prepare data and submit it to us. We can actually pull that data, but we really do count on districts to make sure that data is quality. So you can use those timelines to kind of an idea of when you should be making sure you kind of take a look at that data before we actually pull it. The quality of federal and state reporting is dependent on quality of the data. So you're key into that. So something new, and we don't have a whole lot of information to share on this point, but we have turned on campus analytics for the whole state. You may or may not know that campus analytics is built within system, and a big part of that right now is the early warning system. KDE partnered with Infinite Campus on the early warning system to develop that. So we've had access to the biggest part of campus analytics already. So this is just opening it up to the rest of the tools. There is some additional reporting, and there's also some survey functionality that is more on the premium side of things, a little bit better survey functionality that's available now. Do take a look at that. We are working with Infinite Campus right now to open up some analytics and some analytic tools available to districts. What that would do is it would provide the analytics to all campus users with tool rights. It wouldn't be limited to like leadership, like our computer information systems that CIC data visualizations are. But we're still looking forward to having both and see the value in having both sets of tools, but excited about seeing what campus can introduce into this to make data within Infinite Campus much more actionable. So let's see, civil rights data collection. Yep, we got a second year of civil rights data collection. Usually we get a year break. Not this time because of COVID and it was backed up. They're doing CRDC collection 2 years in a row. So we will continue to support districts in the CRDC reporting, similar to what we did last year. and we will continue to provide information as that becomes available. The CRDC and KDE both provide updates and have web pages you can reference for more information. So just as a reminder, for those of you that participated this morning, might not be back this afternoon, if you've registered, you will get a survey. When you get that survey, you have to complete the survey to be able to get the ELA certification. So please don't miss that step. If you don't get a survey request late today or early tomorrow, then please reach out to KDE data request at education.ky.gov email to ask about that. But it usually takes about 2 weeks to get all the ELA certifications out. So extended school services, they had a presentation and then they opted just to put one slide in here. So I'll do my best here. We do have information on information that is beginning and during the year. We have a start date, intervention type, intervention content area. All that stuff has to be put in during the school year. There's some optional fields that you can decide at the district whether you would have that information available or not. But the end of year, and something you might want to check on now to make sure the end of the year data is complete, is that there's end of year data, end of year date, or end date, I should say, end date, student services results, and total hours served to make sure that ESS data collection is complete. Extra year in primary, the primary checkbox is no longer used in Infinite Campus. The primary program is a prerequisite for entrance to 4th grade. Students are going to be counted in extra year in primary automatically if they spend more than 4 years in grades kindergarten through 3rd grade. So we'll be doing a calculation of that versus having a checkbox. So that's one less thing you have to do. That's a good thing. And it will help us get better data for federal and state reporting on the school report card. So ETranscript reminders, and help communicate this to your counselors. The ETranscript batch functionality requires PES mapping for diploma date and difficulty level. The code defining must be done each year. So we can copy the prior codes for difficulty level, diploma type, PES mapping, all that. Transcripts, and hopefully this has already happened, but transcripts from last year should include graduation date and the graduation code to be considered final for admissions. We do have a little bit more time than we've had previously for free transcripts. So we've extended the date of the amount of time for free transcripts to August 30th. And if you remember, it was previously July 30th. That allows students that for whatever reason didn't get their transcript to their college and try to start school to be able to still get a transcript for free as they enter post-secondary school. So counselors should be generating the transcripts for all graduating seniors each year. There's settings in there that allow them to post all those. And once they've posted them for graduating seniors, they don't have to release them each time they come through because they've already set the button to automatically release once the students become alumni. So ETranscripts is a state standard and is expected by Kentucky universities. It saves them a ton of time. I hear that every time that I talk to the universities. It saves them a ton of time getting an electronic transcript. If you'd imagine, they get a paper, it gets lost. They get an electronic file, it just automatically gets loaded to their system. It's a whole lot simpler for them. So they really encourage, as well as we encourage all districts to use the electronic transcript through Parchment. Infinite Campus invoices did go out. I think they went out in April. They are due August 15th, and you might wonder why we have them for so long. It's just so that districts can decide if they want to pay it with old year money or new year money. So August 15th is deadline. I usually start getting lists of districts that have not paid sometime in the next probably 2 weeks. And then we start sending out friendly reminders. I feel like a bill collector for a couple weeks in August till we get everybody paid. But we've not had a situation where a district hasn't paid. It's just sometimes they get lost. So if you can't find the invoice, you can email the KDE data request at education.ky.gov and you can get a copy of your invoice. The KEYS Eligibility Report, we mentioned this one earlier in the CTE session. It can be used to identify ineligible students due to scheduling issues. Run this report early. This can really help you. Will it catch everything? Probably not, but it'll catch the majority of things that could potentially impact the student's eligibility for a KEYS award. So please make sure you're encouraging that this be run. It's really hard when we get students that contact us and parents that contact us and say, well, we didn't know we weren't going to be eligible based on our schedule. And there's not a thing we can do about it. It's all KIA and the district setup of the schedule that ensures that eligibility each year for KEYS. So kindergarten code, we've got some with full day kindergarten now fully funded. All districts can offer full kindergarten, receive the full funding. But you need to remember to update the kindergarten code at the schools with the 0-0 grade level. Here's the path on that. So please go ahead and go in there. We do pull that data periodically, and we find that data is not always accurate. So we encourage you to make sure the school kindergartens are accurate and this information is reflective of what your operating procedures or your time in kindergarten is in your district. So we got some lead changes coming soon, and Scott Tremellis mentioned this earlier today, and I just kind of wanted to plug it a little bit more. We've listened to you all. I know lead's always been a little bit of a hardship, and you've done a lot of scheduling changes and things like that, and put teachers on courses so that they could clear lead. You shouldn't have to do that going forward. The new educator assignment data lead process will be in place for this fall. It's going to be processed in the Kentucky Educator Certification System. So Infinite Campus data will be used on the student, the course, and the program data to be matched with the certification data to identify the exceptions. There will be training for districts in late September. It's really going to be a simplified process, but I can't stress enough, EPSB ID number is critical. Those without the EPSB number are not going to fall through the cracks. Those staff are going to end up being exceptions. So if you don't get them fixed now, you're going to have to fix them later, or they're going to look like they're exceptions and they don't have the right qualifications because there's no way to match them with the data and certification. So keep that in mind, that you really need to get that data in the system and accurate to avoid lead errors, exceptions, whatever you want to call them. The People Role Manager encourage districts to take a look, not just at their district data, but their school data. That's that key contact information. We use that information to send out communications to the right contacts in districts. And I just sent one out recently to the WAPOCs and the school report card contacts. We've used 2 of those distribution lists just this week. So if the information's not correct, the right people in the districts are not getting the information. WAPOCs do keep those up to date, but if they don't know somebody's left or somebody new's taken a role, those roles might not get updated. Sorry, I can't talk. So it is easy to check. Just go out to the open house at education.ky.gov site, click on the schools and districts there in the top left-hand corner. And once you do that, choose your district, look at your contacts, make sure you think they're right. If they're right, look at your school level data to see if the schools look right, or to ask the schools to look at their school level data and make sure they're right, and get those things updated before the school year starts. We send out a lot of communication to these contacts, and we want to make sure that we're reaching the right people. I often, almost always, I get some that kick back as being invalid. So it would be nice to know we're getting better contacts. School report card information did go out this week to school report card contacts, as well as superintendents with the new dates. Next week, Safe Schools will open on July 18th. That's Monday. So hopefully already you feel good about the school safety data. The safety data was reviewed through the school safety report in campus. That window of review is the shortest, and that's because that data has to be reported to the Office of Education Accountability and the Center for School Safety in August. So that's why that one's first. The rest of the collection period for school and collections and the school profile report data, that does open at the same time on Monday so that people can start working that data. The non-assessment, non-accountability data, after that will open the first part of August and be open for a month and a half. Because of the new accountability and the new Kentucky Summative Assessment this year, we're expecting it to be probably a week later that we open the school report card publicly in October. So the school report card resources webpage is going to be used to include all communications and all resources. So if you get questions, refer them there. Hopefully they would find something there. Always feel free to reach out to me. Just additional plugs on school report card, validate the data, use the QA worksheet. Those have Infinite Campus reports that can be used to help validate data before it actually goes into the system in early August. The teacher turnover details report, use that report. Scott mentioned it this morning. It's Scott Tremellis. This will help you see the teacher turnover details before that data goes out in the school report card. You do need to ensure the EPSB-IDs numbers are correct in the system to avoid any errors or problems with that data. User access, please take the time at the end of the year. People have left, make sure they no longer have access to Infinite Campus. Before they will actually go into the new year, you will definitely want to make sure if anybody's changed roles so that you can change what permissions they have access to. Any new folks, make sure they have access that they need to the system. But again, always verify that the people, as they leave, work with your HR department and make sure you know who's left so that you can ensure their access is no longer set up in Infinite Campus. The Parchment ETranscript webinar training. This is just a plug for some additional ETranscript training. Parchment offers this. Please share this with your counselors if you think they're unaware of this. If you've got new counselors and they're not really sure what to do, Kim Walters is a great contact for that. She can help them get started in the right direction.